Good morning. It is 9:30. We'll get started this morning. If you would stand and join us in the Pledge of Allegiance, please. Commissioner Shield.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. First thing on our agenda this morning is a consent agenda. Is approve the minutes of the August 19th meeting, approve payroll, approve and sign special funding contract for Matute Senior Center, approve vouchers, approve and sign renewed lease for Northwest Healthcare, approve and sign catering permit for Elkhorn Bar and Grill, approve and sign petitions for inclusion for the Northwest Rural Water District, approve and sign agreement for temporary stockpiling for Bridge EHZ, approve and sign Powell Valley Fire Department McCullough Peaks radio site agreement, approve and sign TANF CPI contract, approve and sign catering permit for Cassie's Steakhouse. It's a pleasure of the board.
Madam Chair, I'd like to approve and sign renewed lease for Northwest Healthcare from the consent agenda.
Second.
Okay, we will have a separate discussion on that one. Do I have a motion on the remaining portion of the consent agenda?
Madam Chair, I'd motion to approve the consent agenda otherwise as presented.
Second.
Been moved and seconded to approve the consent agenda with the removal of the renewal lease with Northwest Healthcare. Any further discussion on the motion? Hearing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Motion passes. So, Commissioner Simone, your concerns with the Northwest Healthcare lease?
So, Madam Chair, it's twofold. The first is, I'm just wondering the rental price, it's not really per square foot, the way it's done, the way I read this. It's a base annual rent of $1,030 payable monthly, with monthly payments of $85.83. So that's the first part. I think our other leases that I have seen anyway are per square foot. And also have built in I believe, an adjustment, annual adjustment, percentage adjustment for cost.
Yes.
And I don't see that in this one. And then secondly, my second concern is, I think as a government entity, we're charged with the task of the highest and best use of this space. And so I had asked earlier, but just for the public knowledge, what else is done with that space? This is only 1 day a week. What's being done with it the other 4 days a week? Is this space that we could use 5 days a week? And then thirdly, it just says for services per the mission statement. And I don't know what services, what that means. Is this administrative space? Is this just office space only? Or is this healthcare services? What is it? So that was my reason to pull this for discussion or answers to those questions.
First, I think these have been in place, this one, similar to this or with that entity has been in place for many, many years. I don't know exactly when the formalized lease agreements were figured out, probably when the county obtained the complex here in Cody, but I think this group has been at the annex even longer than that. So that's probably just a holdover on the documents as far as that goes. But the 1 day a week, it was just 4 hours, 1 day a week. And then it was increased this year to 8 hours, the 1 day a week. It is an open office that is used by Park County staff or employees of Park County on the other days when they travel from Cody to Powell or with public health. They can use it. I don't know about the requests for use of single office space at the annex. I haven't heard that much, I guess, if the other commissioners want to weigh in. I'm not sure that we get much request for rentals at the annex or what is even available over there. Not similar to the complex where we get requests quite often, but.
Madam Chair, I do think that we should be consistent on how we're releasing these. And I know this is kind of a little exceptionally different than in the past, but they are doubling their use. But should, all of our leases, whether they're with another government entity or whatever, are all by square footage usage. It doesn't change a lot. It does change it a little bit if you went to the per square foot of our rate. But they would be under the same contract as everybody else with an annual increase in percentage. And I think it'd be more consistent and fair with the uses of all of our office spaces and buildings. So, I mean, I would like to see us redrawn as opposed to a lump sum, or per week is right to the same as everybody else, square footage price. And then the actual use of it is kind of a different question. I don't know that, you know, if public health is using it, do they really need to? I mean, if the lease agreement is with Northwest Health Care, so I mean, as long as they're not subleasing, they can do whatever they want for 5 days a week if they're not. I mean, not whatever, but I'm just saying, if they want to allow public health to use that space, that's between them and public health.
Well, in all actuality, they're only renting it for that one day. So any other time of the week, it's ours to use or the county's to use or.
Under
public
this
health to use.
agreement, and what
Right.
my point, and I believe the reason for pulling is it's not consistent with the way we do everything. Way we lease other office spaces.
The lease agreement is not the same. I agree with that. And I don't know, in discussing it with the buildings and grounds people, the rent might even be less if we do it on the square footage basis and the amount of time for just the one day, depending on how you put that into play. But we can take a look at that. We can look at rewriting it. We can also put in the escalation clause, if I'm saying that correctly. I think it's 2.5% a year, 2.4% a year. To see, you know, what we want to do there, but it can be reworded to match our norm. I don't know how much, I guess in my time here, we haven't really had the question too much per se of what's happening in the office at that time. To your question about whether it's administrative or seeing patients or that, I can't answer that. I don't know. We have turned down some requests for rental, be it daycare or things like that might be disturbing to other uses in some of our buildings, but I don't know that we've gotten into particulars on office space as to what the office is doing. I don't know how to answer that.
Madam Chair, in the agreement, it says that they providing services as defined by the leasee's mission statement. The mission statement states Northwest Healthcare is a private nonprofit organization that provides judgment-free access to high-quality prevention, screening, and treatment services, empowering each individual to take control of their health. I heard about this on the campaign trail. I know that there's a large number of the public that have some concerns with this being in a taxpayer-funded building. And so I think that's the other thing that we need to consider as far as what services in 100 square feet are we doing? If we also have other county employees accessing that space 4 days a week, if we're doing screening and treatment and it's healthcare screening and treatment, how is that, you know, how is that working? I guess I need more information on services and how that's working. If it's administrative, just an office, that's different to me.
Chair, I just want to real quickly add, it would be considerably more if we went to a flat square footage like everybody else than what they're currently paying.
I thought what we just understood was he said $150 a month if it was full use. We're
Correct.
talking 1 day a week. So he said it'd be divide that by 30 days and time.
Forget about the 1 day a week. They either rent it by the month or they don't. Like everybody else, you don't rent anything by the day. They're renting the square footage price per month. That's it.
Okay, if that's what you're looking for,
That's what I would prefer. So it's consistent with everything else we do. If you want this office space, it's 100 square foot, $16 a square foot. You pay it for the month. Everybody else does the same thing, whether it's 3,000 square foot or 100 square foot. We've set a square footage price on our rentals for office space, and they should be paying the same thing, in my opinion.
Madam Chair, I think what we need to do is consider this in a more lengthy time frame. But to me, I think we need to talk to the buildings and grounds and see what is it worth for them to give up that office over there? I mean, is it worth the money we're gonna get? We need their weigh in of do they need that space? Cause they use it. You know, when they're not using it,
Right.
one day they use it. So is it worth even the rental?
Yeah,
To give it up where our buildings and grounds would lose that. And I agree with Lloyd.
Yeah.
If they're gonna rent it, they're gonna rent it, but is it worth giving it up?
Okay, so if I'm hearing you correctly, the homework that we want to do, number one is get it in the same form that all of our other leases are. Number two, that it's a full-time lease, not just 8 hours, 1 day a week. And what the use is, are the three
What the
things that we
services.
want to, the services are. Okay, do I have that on the motion to Chase?
You all right?
Yeah, just bleeding to death.
Madam Chair, I'd make a motion to, I guess, review this lease at the next available time with the 3 conditions that you stated,
Okay, form, rent,
and services.
services.
Second.
Okay, any further discussion on the motion? Hearing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes. Okay, then real quickly, because we do have a public hearing that's due right now, DSR report. DSR 1, the commission did pass 2 weeks ago. It will go into effect on October 1. Staff is currently reviewing the final documents to be recorded. Get that done. DSR 2, we have received one other updated summary that the working group is looking through from the consultants from the January and March, April meetings, looking through uses and zoning thoughts from the public. Those will be available probably toward the end of the month, just making sure that it's in a format that's readable. So we'll get through there. Planning and zoning is still working on uses standards. So we have a little bit more work to do there. The consultant is working with them on that. So hopefully by mid to end September, we will have more information out to at least the Planning and Zoning Commission and the technical working group to start reviewing some of those thoughts before we get out with the public again. So we're kind of in a hold pattern, waiting on some updated information. Anything else on DSR? Okay. So 9:40. You have Kim Delvin, Erica with Planning and Zoning. Have a public hearing for a small variance. The small variant, not a small variant, the small variant. Word that right? Yeah, yeah. Okay,
All right, thank you, Madam Chair. Glenda Sue Small submitted a variance request application seeking a variance to allow 3 accessory housing units in addition to a single-family residence on a property that is 5 acres in size or more. Per the 2015 Development Standards and Regulations, only 1 single-family dwelling and 2 accessory housing units are permitted on properties of 5 acres or more. Provision for variance is to allow flexibility in these regulations when application of certain standards is inappropriate for a specific use or design proposal, or when enforcement of the standard would create a hardship or practical difficulty due to exceptional obstacles associated with the land or site where a particular project is proposed. The board may vary or adjust the strict application of any of the requirements of these regulations if it would deprive the owner of the reasonable use of the land, building, or structure involved. A public hearing before you, the Board of County Commissioners, is required for the consideration of a variance. Ownership is affirmed by 3 quitclaim deeds. The property is an approximately 100.4 acre parcel. Approximately 63% of the property, the northern portion, is located in the general rural 35 acre zoning district, and the remaining 37%, 37.1 acres, is in the general rural 5 acre zoning district. The GR 35 zoning district provides for low-density housing averaging 35 acres per housing unit for conventional housing developments. The GR 5 zoning district allows moderate intensity land uses averaging 5 acres per housing unit. The property is located approximately 1/4 mile north of the intersection of County Road 6BU and Highway 141620 with an address of 15 Road 6BU. Surrounding land uses are residential to the south and east, exempt Forest Service lands to the north, west, and south, and agricultural lands to the east. The majority of the property is undeveloped rangeland. The south central area of the property is developed with a main home, 3 cabins, a bunkhouse, tack storage, horse barn, and garage. The buildings are all pre-existing unpermitted structures built between 1920 and 2000, according to the assessor's records. The topography is relatively flat in the southeastern area of the property where the existing structures are located. There are steep slopes on the western portion of the property and rolling hills on the northeastern portion. The applicant provided a site map showing current structures on the property. The main home, 3 cabins, bunkhouse, tack, storage, horse barn, and garage, as well as a site map showing the proposed structures, which includes removal of 2 existing cabins and the addition of 1 new residence. No covenants are known to exist tied to this property. This parcel is not located within any overlay districts. The property is not within a mile of a municipality, and municipal review is not required. Legal notice requirements have been met. Relevant agencies were notified and responded as follows. The Park County Treasurer stated property taxes for this parcel are paid in full. Park County Public Works stated they do not have any concern with the proposed variance. After the staff report packet went out, I did receive a response from Park County Weed and Pest, so I'll add that to the findings. And Weed and Pest stated they have no issues with this request and will not require a long-term noxious weed management plan. No public comments have been received. The applicant has addressed each condition of the variance approval standards, and staff addressed each condition of the variance approval standards as well, finding not all the conditions are met. Should the Board of County Commissioners grant the variance and the applicant be allowed 3 accessory housing units in addition to a single-family residence on the property located at 15 Road 6BU, staff recommends the following conditions. Condition 1, approval of this variance shall expire 1 year from the date of board approval, signified by recordation of the resolution of approval unless the applicant attains required permits from the Planning and Zoning Department and commences construction or development prior to the expiration date and pursues completion diligently. Prior to commencement of each housing unit, condition 2, prior to the commencement of each housing unit, the applicant shall obtain all required building and small wastewater system permits from the Planning and Zoning Department. Condition 3, the property and structures shall be for private family use. If a change of use is considered, the landowner shall first obtain any required permits to commence the new use. And condition 4, the applicant shall otherwise comply with the standards of the Park County Development Standards and Regulations. We stand by for questions.
Are there any questions at this time from the commissioners?
Yeah, Madam Chair, Erica, just to clarify from my personal input, information, when you notify, no public comments received, you're notifying how many people around that?
660 feet of the property,
Oh, okay, of the boundary of the property?
of the boundary. of the
Okay, thank
property.
you.
Yes.
Any other questions? At this time, this is a public hearing, so I would ask that anybody that would have any input on this proposal to please come forward, including if the applicant would like to say something. But morning.
Morning.
If you would please state your name for the record, please.
Linda Sue Small.
Jim Patnip.
Okay,
The construction of this new building would house one of my full families. We've owned the property for 30 years. It was originally the Grizzly Ranch, and we've had it for 30 years. Our family's grown. When we're all there, there's 17 of us. The kids are big enough that the air mattresses don't work anymore. Two of the buildings are not habitable. The septic and plumbing is not able to be used. So basically, there's only one resident home, the main house. And the other two buildings do not have kitchens or any access. Basically, 4 people can sleep in them. And then we all cram in the rest of it.
Okay.
So going forward, our family continues to grow. I have 4 great grandsons now. And you know, hunting season's coming up. So we do need more space. We are all here at the 4th of July and mostly through the hunting season. Everyone's usually here at the same time. And that's my request to build a new piece of property. And it will abandon the other 2 buildings. It's gonna take a little time. I don't know if we could do it in 12 months, but Jim, do you have anything to add?
Well, what we've done, gonna do, is some of the septic, where the old building was tore out a couple of years ago. We took that septic out, they're 55-gallon barrels right beside the creek. So we're proposing on this next one is to move the septic away from the creek down over the side and hook another building up to it. So eventually the building that we're gonna take out, there's probably gonna be 55-gallon barrels there also. And they're right beside the creek because there's no other place to go. So we're trying to improve to county standards. You know, now the building that we're taking out, what they're calling residents, you know, we don't call them residents because it's basically a sleeping room and a bathroom. I don't think there's a kitchen in any of them. There's no kitchen. They all go to the main house. So we're trying to bring the old system, delete, take out, and bring them up to the county standards on the new building and the septic systems.
Okay. Do you have any concerns with the condition of only for family use, private use? If that condition is put on this variance, that you would not be able to use them for rentals or anything like that. It would only be for family use.
Yes.
Okay. Okay. Anything else? Oh,
Go ahead.
Madam Chair, my interpretation of the condition you mentioned and may not get this done, as long as you start and you commence one of the 3 and then you're starting that within a year. So you do plan, I mean, as long as you don't have to be complete in my interpretation of that condition.
Right.
If it takes you 2-3 years to get it done, but as long as you start within a year.
Yeah.
You
True.
follow? So I don't think that's a hiccup. You mentioned the time frame may not be able to get done, but as long as you plan on starting, which is my interpretation of that condition.
What we're doing now, we'll have done in a year beside the demo. Well, we'll do that next year. In the spring, you know.
Right.
But down in the future, down the road, I'm not sure how long the project this will expand.
Well,
But, you know,
okay.
that's,
as long as you get started, we should be okay.
right.
Commissioner?
Madam Chair, I'm looking at the site map here and it shows the demo of the 2 cabins and then it shows the new build. I guess for my clarification, are you not gonna rebuild them other spots? You're just gonna rebuild the one? Or are you gonna build the new one and demo 2?
Yes.
Okay, but you're not gonna rebuild any of those 2?
No.
Okay.
Okay. Is there any other public comment? Any other public comment on this proposal?
Madam Chair, I move to close public hearing.
Second.
Been moved and seconded to close the public hearing. Any discussion on the motion? Hearing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Motion passes.
Madam Chair, I move to approve the variance for the small family with the conditions listed.
Second.
Been moved and seconded to approve the variance as requested by the small family, including the conditions. Any discussion on that motion?
Madam Chair, real quick, you look at the conditions. I want to see something fast here. Okay, good.
Okay. Any other discussion?
Madam Chair, just point out that we did ask the planning director earlier about whether this variance would set a precedent in the county, and it has, there's already been a variance similar granted. And so I'm comfortable moving forward with it for that. Just as a matter of statement.
Madam Chair, I would like to also add that, you know, as we move into the DSR round two, that I hope this is a sensitive subject as to the limiting the number of accessory housing based on acreage. I mean,
Yeah.
if you could have a 10,000 acre ranch and you could be
Yeah.
under the same situation as a 5 acre ranch. So
Right.
we definitely moving forward, hopefully we can clear some of this up and we wouldn't have to have variance at all.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah, that is on the list. Any other discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Motion passes. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
You bet. Morning.
Morning, Madam Chair, Commissioners.
Morning. Next thing on our agenda is an interview for the Buffalo Bill Dam Visitor Center Board. So I have to be careful
Damn
how I
board of-
say
Another
that.
damn board appointment.
There you go. So with us this morning is Richard Jones. So I guess I just ask you to tell us a little bit about yourself and your interest in the position.
Well, basically, you probably know me more than I should admit. However, as far as that position goes, I've been on the appointed twice to the board. I served out for over 8 years. I was the secretary. This last fall, when reappointment came up, I kind of forgot about it because I was having a heart attack and open heart surgery and missed the deadline.
Some excuse, you know?
What can I say? Anyway, and Claudette, the chair of the board, I told she was getting on me for not doing that, but I told her that it was fine. There wasn't any problem with getting somebody new on there. However, if somebody had to leave the board or got sick or something, I'd be happy to fill anybody else's term, walk right into it. And this is what's occurred lately is we just have an unexpected vacancy in it. So I'm basically here at the request of the board to get a reappointment. Stand for any questions whatsoever.
What have you found to be the main part of the board's job?
The main part of the job, it's an unusual situation, and I'm sure you're all kind of familiar with it, but it's very rare to have a nonprofit entity that is run by the county. Your obligation as commissioner is to appoint the board, but it's a nonprofit foundation. We manage it, we run it, we take no county funds. All the expenses are on us, including certain level of repairs and other things for the Bureau of Reclamation does not necessarily do a lot of things for us either, but provided the facility. So the main job of the board has been stewardship of our endowment money. Besides potentially having big repair jobs, HVAC, roof, windows blowing out, any number of potential things can happen there. We've had a few big expenses over the years. So having enough resources to take care of a problem is important. And we also provide a public service. All of you have been out there and people have to walk several hundred yards to get to the visitor center. That's 6,000 feet or 5,000 feet, whatever. And these flatlanders are going to die on the way sometimes. So we have about 30 volunteers, and we provide a golf cart pickup and retrieval service for anybody who wants it, free of charge. We have about 30 volunteers. We have a paid manager and a couple of assistant managers that operate the bookstore, run the facilities, and manage the volunteers. So the board's position is classic board oversight of decision-making and primarily husbanding our resources, which have grown over the years. We may have close to probably $700,000-900,000 in our reserves. Sounds like a lot of money, but as you all know, one little infrastructure problem can wipe that out in an instant. And our continual upgrading, keeping up with golf carts and is common expenses, and almost all our revenue is provided by our bookstore sales. So it's just basically and volunteer work. Several of our board members, including myself, are also volunteers. We drive the carts, we participate in other events like Great Dam Day the other weekend. And just promote. It is the third largest, third busiest attraction in Park County. Well, the Center of the West claims that they have the top 5, but that's for each one of their museums individually. So I think they're cheating on that one. But it's a very popular place, and when I even moved here 10 years ago, I thought it was an interesting historical thing to be in charge of. And we try to expand what we provide to the public. Our story is to tell the story of the Buffalo Bill Dam, the importance of the reclamation service in bringing irrigation to this valley. And I keep pushing for other things to do, such as getting more access to the Shoshone power plant things for visitors. Bureau of Reclamation has no interest in doing any of that kind of thing. But it's something we could possibly do, offer possibly paid a couple times a day. People could sign up for a tour of that place, and we could provide a person to do that, provide the card. All Bureau of Rec has to do is just have somebody at the door. We don't have to do anything else. So getting permission with them to do these kinds of things, but we're telling their story. That's our charge. That's about it. It's been a pleasure to work for the board, and I enjoyed it. As far as jumping in on somebody else's vacancy, hit the ground running, so to speak, as far as that, no learning curve. I'll probably be too old next time it comes around, but I'm still alive.
Okay.
I'm Chair, I missed the part about the revenue sources.
Our bookstore. That's it.
You don't get any grants or anything.
We have gotten some Park County Travel Commission grants at times that, and they're particularly, this has to do with the publicity types of things. I don't know how much, I can't remember how much we get from them. But the bulk of the funds are all self-generated, and donations, frankly. I'm amazed at how generous people are. They will donate to our golf cart and other stuff, and it's rather significant.
Cool. Any other questions?
I'm Chair. So, and so for as far as the dam itself, you don't have the board doesn't oversee maintenance of that or repairs of that or any, that's Bureau of Rec. And so you're just
Well,
over the
there-
visitor
there's
center.
Complications there are very interesting. So you have a Bureau of Reclamation project. They're interested in the dam, the water resources, the reservoir, the runoff. And I'm not sure legally, like they own the dam, I guess, and those facilities are right there. But then part of that land is Bureau of Land Management. Okay, so that's comes under their thing, and Bureau of Land Management has other things going on, such as other projects like dams. So we've got the Bureau of Reclamation interest there. We have the Bureau of Land Management interests, the surrounding land. It's a state highway, so YDOT has control over the tunnels, roads, parking, things like that. And in addition to that, the Buffalo Bill State Park doesn't own any of that. They have a legal overlay to manage the recreational aspects. The Bureau of Reclamation doesn't want to do that either, neither does BLM. So the state park runs the campgrounds and fishing access and stuff like that. So and we're just sitting in the middle of it, telling the story of what's going on there. Is that,
Yeah, that answers it. Thanks.
it's not a simple thing.
No, lots of entities involved.
Okay, anything else, Richard? Thank you for coming in.
You're welcome. Have any of you been through the dam on a tour?
I have.
Through the facilities, anybody else?
I need to.
We'll keep that in mind. Generally in the spring, we try to get the Bureau of Reclamation and you're taking an informational tour for interested parties. So
Cool.
try to be sure and get those of you who haven't been in there.
Yeah, let us.
Yeah,
let
it's the
us know.
second tallest building in Wyoming is at the dam.
Mhm.
Big concrete building in the middle of the parking lot. 7 stories straight now.
Hmm.
For instance.
For those of us that don't like heights, that's not a good idea.
Well, you're inside, you're,
I know. All right, thank you.
you're welcome.
Okay. Okay, Linda? Good morning.
Good morning.
Have a seat. Thank you for applying for the
Thank you.
position. So again, this is an interview for the Buffalo Bill Dam Board. So if you would tell us a little bit about yourself and why you're interested.
Well, because the dam, excuse me, has always interested me. Excuse me. I started doing some extra research this weekend and I'm thinking, it was finished in 1960. I thought it was later than that. And I can remember the 7 rock dams, the tunnels. And I'm going, why am I remembering them? I was only 4 years old. So you have to understand that was kind of like, really? I can remember them. I can remember honking on either end of the tunnels. But that is my sincerely most interesting part of Cody is those tunnels. In fact, I was living in Detroit and I came home in my 40s and I went to one of the postcard stores here in town, the one across from the Irma. And when I was younger, I remembered the postcard of the twin tunnels. And I asked the lady at the postcard store, do you have the postcard of the twin tunnels? And she politely told me, I believe you're in the wrong town. I grew up in Cody. And she just told me I was in the wrong town. And I'm thinking, I think you need a history lesson on Cody. That tunnel that's out there is not the tunnel that used to be there. And I politely told her that is not the original tunnel. There were rock tunnels prior to that, and there were 7 of them, and you had to honk to go through either end. And she was a little amazed at what I said because she was unaware of the fact that the tunnel out there now was not the original tunnel. But she didn't have any postcards left of the original postcards. But that has always been my major interest. And when there was this vacancy, I thought this would be great to know the actual going on and how this dam area is actually ran. And I applied for the position. Because this has always been my greatest interest of Cody is that dam. But I do know how I remember all that. My grandfather was building a cabin and we went every weekend up in Yellowstone. So I do have a legitimate reason for remembering why the tunnels were the way they were. But that is great interest of mine. And to get involved in how that runs, I would be greatly interested.
Okay. Have you done any other board positions or board work in the past?
I'm a nurse and just through those positions, yes.
Okay.
I have.
Questions from the board? Okay. I think we're okay.
Well, thank you very much for
All
your
right.
time.
You bet. Thank you. Thank you for applying. So,
I'm sorry I don't have as much experience as my previous interviewees. He's had more experience. I just moved back to Cody
Oh,
2 months ago.
well,
Welcome back.
welcome.
Oh, I've been waiting to get back. I was in Florida for 6.5 years. Believe me, those hurricanes are not something. I'd rather see 7 feet of snow.
Well, you might get your wish. We'll see.
Well, it's better than no hurricane.
Thank you.
Thank you for your.
Kelly, those are the only two applications we received, correct? Okay. Pleasure of the board.
Madam Chair, I'll make a motion to appoint Richard Jones to the vacancy on the Buffalo Bill Band Board.
Second.
Been moved and seconded to appoint Richard Jones to the Buffalo Bill Dam Board. Any further discussion on the motion? Hearing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Motion passes. Thank you. Kelly, you'll let them know, please. I don't think we'll have a lot of public on this one. Last thing on our agenda comes in from the Wyoming Local Government Liability Pool. And it has to do with a government opening on the board. You've all seen the letter from them. The term is for one board position, expires December 31, 25. That's currently right now. Position is an at-large member currently filled by Chairman Brad Bassey. Chairman Bassey intends to seek re-election. Additional nominations for the position may be submitted. The governing body of any LGLP member entity may nominate someone for this position. An election will follow the nomination deadline. So if we would like to nominate somebody, today's the day to do that. And then we will receive information back as far as a ballot goes when they're ready to have the entities vote on that position. So I guess the question today, is there anyone here interested in serving or interested in nominating anybody to serve on Wyoming Local Government Liability Pool?
Madam Chair, for clarification, this is only for the at-large position, correct? Who are the current commissioners?
Oh, boy. You can look really quick.
It's not you, not me, I don't.
No, and we don't, I mean, there's only two throughout the state. So,
Oh,
yeah,
that's
it's statewide,
Oh,
right,
okay.
right. I think I knew.
And
one
do-
of them.
I thought it was in somewhere.
Do we know, does anybody know Brad Passy?
Madam Chairman,
Mhm. Yes,
so Brad Bassey, County Commissioner for 3.5 terms. He filled a vacant term in about 2001, and then was commissioner for 4 terms, was commission chairman, was WCCA member, active WCCA member. He has been on the LGLP board as a county commissioner, and then moved to an at-large member as he as the his term as county commissioner ended. And so, yeah, he's got significant history with LGLP and significant history in government.
and then the 2 commissioners that are sitting on there at this point.
That's right.
I know we saw it
I
not too
saw
long
it
ago.
somewhere, but I don't remember.
So, Madam Chair, for discussion, then we don't have to nominate anybody, but
Nope.
and are there each county, if I'm reading right, is this just open to every county?
Yes.
To not, for nomination,
All that are members.
right?
So, Madam Chairman, the members currently are Brad Bassey, member at large, Kelly Krakow, mayor of Albin, Rick Grant, Converse County Commissioner, Lori Ibarra, Tri-City Parks and Recreation District Administrator, Mike Bailey, City of Riverton Council Member, Hale Redding, Weston County Weed and Pest District Supervisor, and Lonnie Wright, Sheridan County Commissioner.
So with that, I would just ask if there's any interest from anyone? to,
Sounds like Lloyd's interested.
Lloyd?
No. I declined. I just, I don't have a problem nominating Bassy. I just don't know him and I'm sure he'll get renominated anyway.
Yeah, we do, he'll apply for re-up and we'll get that ballot and it'll include if anyone else is nominated to run against him. So if there's no nomination here, we have no action.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay. Information. Okay. With that, that does conclude our agenda for today.
Move to adjourn.
Second.
All those in favor?
I.
There's nobody opposed. Okay. Motion passes.
You want this.